Hey guys, it is April 30th and we're going to finish this thing out today. Epilogue, we're going to read the epilogue, so it's kind of like in the epic fail of Arturo Zamora. So it just kind of tells us what happens after the epilogue. Is kind of like, okay, the story ended and now here's kind of the update. So it's not too long. Nope, pretty short. So it'll be a short little video and we're all done with this. Epilogue. A few weeks after the vote, Mop and Bren came home. We met at the park with Carmen and Vanessa. Bren brought a football to throw around to impress Vanessa, but she totally ignored him. She had packed a picnic for all of us and served this delicious mango juice she'd bought at the new juice bar that had opened up in place of Wilfredo's office. Did you catch that? Wilfredo's gone. After hearing the community, the city council voted and a new ordinance was passed. Buildings could not be taller than a certain height. People Place didn't fit in with the neighborhood. I couldn't find out where he had gone. Then one day Aunt Tootie came to dinner, all hysterical because she had found out that Wilfredo was running for public office. He wants to be city commissioner. Can you believe that? No way. I can't. Don't say it. Everyone yelled in unison before Brian could finish. The idea of Wilfredo people running for city commissioner was both ridiculous and terrifying. Whatever his plans, I knew he didn't stand a chance against my family. Our lease was renewed and my family started working with a contractor for the expansion almost immediately. Uncle Frank helped out with the planning. In the meantime, we planted floribunda bushes everywhere. Abuela would have loved that. But back to the picnic. Vanessa, Carmen, Mop, Bren, and I ate and played poker for pastelitos. Bren knew how much Vanessa loved pastelitos, so he kept tipping his cards so she could see. Mop protested because he gets really competitive with card games. Dude, stop cheating. I'm just helping her out, Bren said and smiled awkwardly, which made Vanessa roll her eyes. Carmen sat really close to me and a couple of times our hands touched, which made me eat my sandwich really, really fast. This happened like 4 times, so by the last sandwich, I was so stuffed that I felt like throwing up. There were only a few weeks left before Carmen and her dad had to go back to Spain. It was hard not to think about that, but Carmen told me she didn't want to spend her last days worrying. Like your poem said, the journey prepares us for the journeys beyond. Uncle Frank's first ever post ended up getting a ton of likes and comments. He decided to put my entire poem on the homepage of the website, which was pretty cool. And the fact that Carmen was quoting my poem was epically awesome. Oh, and I was promoted to assistant junior cold food prep cook. Martin was still my boss, but he wasn't as bad to work for anymore. He continued to punch me in the arm whenever I didn't add enough vinaigrette to a salad, or when I didn't put enough ceviche on a plate. He said it was so I would stay alert during my shift, but really I think he just liked to punch me in the arm for random reasons. Oh, and the letters Abuelo left me? Well, I continued filling in the blank pages. It was my way of talking to both of my grandparents. So here's the thing. Life had changed in a big way. Abuela was gone and she left a big hole behind. But we had also brought the community together. You could feel it. We were all much closer than before Wilfredo had ripped through town. And my mom made it a point to take more days off. She and my dad went out on dates like 2 or 3 times a week now. So I sometimes heard her giggling through the hallway, and I gotta be honest, it was kind of embarrassing. Vanessa was accepted to Junior Leadership Summit in Washington, D.C., and she said her first order of business would be to change the design of the organization's logo because she said it was offensive to indigenous peoples. After one Sunday family dinner, when everyone had gone home and it was just my mom, Carmen, and me left to lock up, I looked over at Abuela's urn. Carmen stood next to me as we waited for my mom to finish up in the kitchen. Carmen followed my gaze and said, I never understood why we display the ashes of the dead this way. She's trapped, I replied. It's sad when you think of how much Abuela liked going to the beach and gardening outside. I turned around to find my mom behind us. I prayed she hadn't heard me say that. You're right, Arturo, and I have an idea. My mom took my abuela's and abuelos' urns and asked us to follow her outside. We walked through the streets toward the canals. We stopped by an old structure that was probably once a tower of some kind, a reminder of Canal Grove's Spanish architectural history. My mom handed me Abuela's urn while she held on to Abuelo's. Are you sure, Mom? I asked. They should both flow through this town and out to the sea, where maybe they'll make it back to the island of their birth. Wow, that's pretty deep, Mom. She smiled and winked. You're not the only poet around here. We opened the urns and freed Abuela and Abuelo into the canal. That's where they need to be, I said. My mom nodded, and Carmen smiled as I watched Abuela's and Abuelo's ashes move with the current down the twists and turns of the many canals that made up our beautiful neighborhood. The end. So the packet that goes along with this should be turned in on Monday, the 4th, along with your copy that I sent home of the book, and then you'll get the next book and packet then for a long way down. So we finished it up at the end of April. See you guys.